It's illegal.
It's illegal and I'm not allowed. But if we was to bet, Joe, if we was to do a little bit of an under-table bet, hypothetically, I'd be going and you'd be going... I know Dana's saying Kobe's next for the title, but if Masvidal knocks Burns out, I think they might change their mind on that fast. We are going to review the UFC 287. I always get the numbers wrong. I didn't even know the number to my card, but we're going to review the 287 card. We had Periera vs Sandhagen just gone. Shocked a lot of people, I think, how easy Corey made it look.
Yeah, I thought Periera would have made it a bit more of a dogfight.
Yeah, I don't know if something was going on with Periera or why. He looked a little bit flat, but could just be that he was took by surprise. Sandhagen kind of gelled it all together, didn't he? I think everyone expected him to just have this crazy stand-up war, but Sandhagen was wrestling, grappling, striking, just kind of had him flabbergasted, really, is how it looked.
Yeah, is it? Didn't the one judge?
Yeah,
come on. How can they get it so far wrong? Like, it's crazy, isn't it? How did the two other judges have it 4-1 to Sandhagen, and then you have a judge go 3-2 to and come on. But me and Brett were saying on the weekend, right? Obviously at Cage Warriors Academy Wales, and like the judging there is better. Like you're looking at it and you're thinking this is making more sense than some of the calls you see at the UFC, and you're just thinking how can they get it so wrong at like the elite level?
Do you know what I think it is as well? I think at the lower level, the judges obviously they get paid, but they don't get paid. It's not their full-time job. A lot of them kind of do it because they just love being involved in the sport and they love the sport. Do you know what I mean? I feel like these judges at the top, they're kind of like, oh well, we'll be back next week, go again.
You think,
this is if they must lose it. I don't know what
they should be judged at least, shouldn't they, on what they're doing?
They should at least have to be held accountable. So, like, if it's a controversial one, they should at least have to be sat down in front of a board or whatever and say, right, you scored this 3 rounds to Periera. We're going to watch the fight now. You explain to me why you 41 that round. Do you know what I mean?
I like what I think Rogan said it before. Why not have like 20 judges and just take the average?
Well, not just that. Also, you look at judging, like, why are they sat cage side? They're all sat at different points of the cage. They should be sat in a room like this, a quiet room with a screen in front of each of them, or sit them in different rooms if you want, with no commentary.
Yeah.
Just you can hear the fight, fair enough, because you want to hear the impact of some of the punches. But they should be like in a quiet room, you know, no phone, no distraction, and just watching it on the screen. That's what I honestly think.
No, I think you're right, because you can get taken over by the crowd.
Well, you know, as well, like what I see from by you might be at an angle where I might see a punch land, you may be at an angle where you don't see it land, and vice versa. So
I know from the weekend, like, especially when they're grappling and stuff, you can't see half of what's going on.
No, you can't. And you got to kind of like remember a lot of these judges in America are boxing judges, so they don't really know. Well, in my opinion, a lot of them don't really know what they're looking at. This is why it should be ex-fighters or coaches, obviously with no affiliation to any of the fighters on the card, but you should have had to at least, you know what you're looking at. But whatever, that's enough. Everyone's sick of hearing judges rants and sweat, but it's got to be said. We'll just go over the top 4 fights there. The start at the top, we got a big rematch. Alex Periera against Stylebender, and well, we don't know where we go from it, because the last fight, it was almost like a dead cert that Adesanya had it won, and then it's just as if Pereira's like his boogeyman.
He's just got his number somehow, isn't he? He just seems to be able to shut his lights off. He didn't even shut his lights off, to be honest with you. I mean, I know it's up and down whether or not he should have maybe even stopped it.
I think it was a good stoppage, personally. I think it was a good stoppage. Just because of the way, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but he kind of like covered up and like ducked down. You know what I mean? When you start doing that, Mark Goddard, I think, was the ref, wasn't he? And you know, Mark's been about fucking years. He's one of the best referees on the planet. He must have seen something, I think, because he's not like a guy known for making dodgy calls. No. Goddard. I think he must have seen something that led him to. And what I'll say is this: like, you're not really dealing with two bantamweights here. You're dealing with a guy in Periera who hits like a truck, doesn't he? So, you know, it may look to us like it was premature, at the same time, then one extra shot could have hurt Izzy bad. But again, you got the counter side to that argument of he's a champion, he should be allowed to. And I guarantee he would rather have gone out on his shield.
Yeah. He didn't argue it, to be fair.
No, but I do think it was a good stoppage. But
I don't really know how to even look at this next fight going in, because I think it's kind of the same thing. Izzy's either going to like outpoint him, I think, for the majority of the fight, or he's going to get knocked out. But at the same time, he had Periera on Joe Rogan would call it Queer Street pretty early doors, didn't he?
Look,
So
it's like, it's kind of fucking, it's one of them, right? Is if that round had been a minute shorter, or the first one had been a minute longer, we'd be able to this fight is done, it's buried, isn't it? But it didn't. Like, and we can say what we want. Periera lost the other 4 rounds or 3 rounds. All he got to do is make sure he doesn't get caught. It's like, you think he didn't know that going into the last one? Like, it happened in their last kickboxing fight. Izzy was winning the fight comfortably, and then Periera in the last round chins him. So,
who do you want to win? That's what I want to know.
I like Periera, I do. I gotta be honest.
I prefer Izzy to win.
I like Periera, but here's my kind of. I think Pereira's shelf life is limited in that division because stylistically, Izzy's a good fight for him because Izzy's going to come and strike. But you look at the up and coming guys like Whittaker. If he fights Periera, he's likely going to wrestle. Khamzat, he's going to wrestle. Costa even is probably going to wrestle him. Vittori's going to wrestle him. But at the same time, it's easy for us to just say, just take him down. But you got to get past them. The guy's massive, mind. You got to get past the elbows. You got to get past the knees. The only reason I say I like Periera anyway, I think he's a beast. He's just so intense, intimidating, and he's like
stoic. You don't know anything about him, do you?
Just like this guy was made to just knock people out. But I'd like to see Periera win and go up to light heavyweight and fight Jamal Hill.
Yeah, that would be hell.
And I think the light heavyweight division for Periera is better suited because it's filled with a lot more strikers, if I'm honest.
Especially after the Glover waiting, after Jamal Hill beat Glover.
And there's a bit of, there's a storyline there, isn't it? And let's be honest, Pereira's more than big enough to fight at light heavyweight.
Oh, he looks
massive,
doesn't he?
I think he walks around 220, but we're not talking like an out-of-shape 220. He's ripped to the bone at 220. So, and he spoke about himself, didn't he? He spoke about wanting to fight Khamzat at 205. And
he looks like he kills himself, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. You can see that. But, I'm not counting Izzy out by any means because, like I said, if you want to speak in hindsight, if the last fight, you only had to survive in a minute and Izzy would have won a comfortable decision, or, you almost knocked him out in the first round. So I don't think Izzy's going to go into the fight disheartened by the last one. But I feel like Pereira's going to go in there and think, right, I'm just going to... Because I think he played it a little bit too technical, Pereira did last time, where like he tried to outpoint him, and you would have seen in the 5th round, he just like walked at him and just started bombing. And I expect him, not within reason, it's style bed at the end of the day. You can't walk at someone of that level and expect to just swing bombs and knock them out. But Pereira's right up there with him. And I think personally you'll see a much more aggressive Periera from early on this time. I don't think he'll be worried about the cardio because he showed last time in all fairness. Because the commentary, they were spinning a bit of a narrative last time. Like, the weight cut, look, it's draining him. But I've watched that fight like 2 or 3 times. And to me, Periera looked... just as fresh in the 4th and the 5th round as he did in the first 2. So, I think Periera will come out more aggressive. I think Izzy will come out a little bit more switched on and play it a little bit safer. It'll be a clash of, can he overwhelm Izzy, or can Izzy just keep him at bay like he did just for that extra minute longer? But it's one of those fights you're going to tune in to watch it because you don't know what way it's going to go. Because if Periera had come out and starched him in the first round last time, we'd all be saying, what's the point in the rematch? Definitely. But the fact that it went the way it did just makes me want to watch this fight even more than I wanted to watch the last one. I know, and I think if Adesanya gets that win, though, like there's no doubt then they're going to do a trilogy, aren't they? Well, they've kind of got to, haven't they? Yeah, pretty much. But that'll be the 5th time they fought then. Yeah. They must be sick of each other by now. And it's, they do the trilogy. It's kind of the middleweight division is in a bit of a weird spot where it's not really going to hold up the division because, Khamzat's not going to fight till the end of the year, and he's going to have one at middleweight before he has a a title shot. Costa wants to fight Khamzat. You've got Sean Strickland only on a 1-fight win streak. You've got Vettori just won, but it was like a bit of a controversy. Whittaker, I think Whittaker's won one since he lost to Izzy.
Yeah, he's beat Vettori since.
They're not going to rush to put. They'll probably put him in with Periera if he wins, but they're not going to put him in against.
No,
they're not going to put him straight in against Izzy. So, I think division-wise, if Izzy wins, it means they're almost definitely going to do a third one. Either that or Periera might say, I can't be bothered cutting all his weight no more, I'm going to go up a weight. But again, it's all their fans and maybes at the minute. But yeah, my official prediction is Periera, TKO.
I'm going to go Adesanya. I think he's going to see him out for the 5 rounds.
Here we go. Well, I can't bet because
it's illegal.
It's illegal and I'm not allowed. But if we was to bet, Joe, if we was to do a little bit of an under-table bet, hypothetically, I'd be going Periera and you'd be going Stylebender.
The thing is, it's been a lot better since we can't bet because I was losing every week at one point. It's fucking working out.
Do you want to take on a second mortgage to pay off?
If he tries to bet me on the slide now, I'm straight on the phone to UFC. Like, what? Come on, guys, he's fucking me over.
Right, so what we got next? Don't forget, like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notification on the new video.
Gilbert Burns, Jorge Masvidal. This is like one which, to be honest with you, this could be a main event on the pay-per-view itself, I reckon.
Definitely. I'm interested in this one big time because I'm interested for one. Masvidal hasn't fought since the Colby fight, which was, a year ago? And I don't think he's fought for almost a year between those two fights, if I'm right. I think he fought
Usman twice.
He fought Usman like the April of the year before. Look, Gilbert Burns is a beast, isn't he? There's no two ways about it. You watch his fight against Khamzat, although he lost, his stock only went up. Then you watch him come and fight Magny, who's had the most wins in welterweight history. I don't want to call him a gatekeeper because that's disrespectful to him because he's not a gatekeeper. He's almost kind of like maybe a gatekeeper to the top 3, top 5, isn't he, Magny? He's capable of beating anyone. But Gilbert Burns made it look easy.
I think with this one, my heart says like, I want Masvidal to win and go on and fight for a title. But my head says Burns is going to win. Like I can't help but like...
Burns is... he's so good everywhere, right? He's a big power puncher. His wrestling, he's not really a wrestler as such, but his grappling is obviously world level. And I think he's ADCC or Nogi world's champion. And we're talking, he's been in jiu-jitsu God knows how long. What I will say is, Masvidal, I think technically he's a much better striker.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm honest, I think Masvidal's probably a little bit too technical and a little bit too street smart on the feet for Burns to just come out and start swinging bombs and land on him. And I think Masvidal's got underrated takedown defense as well. I don't think it's going to be a case of Burns is going to be able to come out and pin him. It'll kind of have to come from a knockdown, I think, where maybe Gilbert gets knocked down, maybe Masvidal gets knocked down. Because you look at Masvidal against Kobe. Kobe won comfortably, but he didn't, easily rag him down and just pin him. Do you know what I mean?
Same with Usman, didn't it? When they fought on Fight Island, he couldn't really take him down.
And Masvidal is a real elite level sneaky striker. Knock out Darren Till. Even against Kobe, you've seen how he got that shot in. Had he had a little bit more energy, who knows what could have... I don't think he ever beats Kobe, if I'm honest, just because of the styles. But if you give him an opportunity to land... he's going to land. I think Masvidal edges the striking. Obviously, Burns edges the grappling. I think it'll be a case of who can dictate and whether George can keep... let's remember, it's only a 3-round fight. So this is Masvidal's first 3-round... get my words out. First 3-round fight for probably, 5? Yeah, since the Ben Askren. I think he fought Nate Diaz twice against Usman and then Kobe. So since the Askren fight... And the one before Askren was Darren Till, and that was a 5-rounder. So it'd be interesting to see if he comes... I think he's going to come out and try to prove a point because the storyline's there for him, innit, if he wins. I know Dana's saying Kobe's next for the title, but if Masvidal knocks Burns out, I think they might change their mind on that fast because the storyline's there. The 3-piece in the soda, Leon's openly saying he wants to get that one back. And Masvidal, love him or hate him, he is a big draw. He's a big name within the sport. He pulls in pay-per-views. And it'd be a great fight for for Leon in terms of like exposure and stuff like that. So interesting one, but it's not a straightforward fight for any of them. Burns, you can't watch Burns against Khamzat and say, well, he could beat anyone in that.
It was.
Look at the last 2 fights Burns have lost. He lost to Khamzat, and many people thought he won. I thought Khamzat won, but you could argue, aside for Burns, come through the fire, just showed he's an absolute animal. And you want to talk about BMF, this should be a BMF title, because Masvidal is the BMF champion, supposedly. There's not a badder guy on the roster. Gilbert Burns, people are running from Khamzat, left, right, and centre. Gilbert Burns, not only did he fight him, but hurt him, and the only guy we've really seen have success against him. So this should be a BMF title fight for definite. Yeah. But like what I was saying is, look at Burns' last 2 losses. You got Khamzat, which was an absolute war that no one expected it to be. People expected Khamzat to walk through him, and then Usman did TKO him, but he had Usman on skates in the first round as well. So
that was it was looking like he was going to finish that fight at one point.
And he just 100% every shot. If he lands, he can get anyone. Well, he hurt Khamzat, but I think he dropped Khamzat.
He dropped Khamzat. Yeah. I swear he tried to put the...
He tried to put the
kick him, didn't he?
It's that meme online. I've seen it. It's like when the drunk guy bumps into me in a bar. It's like Burns is cracking him. He drops. He's trying to put the boot in.
I think at that point it was kind of like he forgot where he was. He was just like, I'm just scrapping you, wasn't it?
It was an all-out... It wasn't an MMA fight, was it? It was an all-out...
It was a war, wasn't it? It was a brawl. It was great to watch.
But yeah, it's in Miami as well, the card. So obviously, George isn't from Miami. Gilbert trains in Miami, so that's a massive, massive fight from the put on.
So I'm saying this could be a pay-per-view itself, and I'm surprised they haven't. Well, Masvidal, he's probably on pay-per-view points anyway.
He's got to be, yeah. He's got. I think he is, but like you said, it seems like there hasn't been a lot of promo around this event. Maybe they'll up it now next week or whatever. Well, obviously they will with a countdown and stuff, but. For Masvidal, he's such a big star. I can imagine they got to pay him a hell of a lot of money. I would have thought they would, be promoting the shit out of it. But we'll see. I'm on the fence on that one, to be honest. Just because of how well Gilbert have performed in his last. I know the Khamzat loss and then Neil Magny went. Just because of how good he've looked and the consistency that Gilbert's fighting these top level guys every 5-6 months. Whereas as good as George is, he hasn't fought since that Colby fight. I mean. He fought almost a year before that, and he fought like 9 months off between that and the first Usman fight. So I guess we'll have to see on that one.
If you had to bet, I don't know. I'd probably have to go Burns, personally.
Based on current form, I think you'd be, I think that'd be a safe bet. But George is an old head veteran, sneaky, very good everywhere as well. Like just because Colby out wrestled, doesn't mean that you're an easy guy to take down.
That's who I'd want to win, mind. If I could pick storyline wise, I'd want Masvidal to win, call out Leon, and get that fight.
Well, if we were Vince McMahon, if we were the Vince McMahon of UFC,
exactly,
and we were writing a storyline, you've got 3 years ago, Masvidal kind of sucker punched Leon out the back, 3-piece in a soda, whatever. Masvidal's become this megastar. Now Leon has rose up to be the megastar and win the belt. Masvidal gets a win. It's kind of as if the stars have aligned.
Perfect, wouldn't it?
It'd be great for a UK car, wouldn't it? That'd be a stadium fight. That would.
It would have to be,
Masvidal and Leon. Well, thank you again for watching, guys. We appreciate your constant support. Let us know your picks in the comments for this big card. Don't forget, like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications on the new video, and you can also catch us on Patreon. Link in description. One fight down, then we've got Rob Font against Adrian Yanez again. Another real interesting fight. Gonna be a striking match, I think. You've got Yanez, who's a really good boxer, slick hands, slick head movement, brilliant counter puncher. And Rob Font is a very good boxer as well. I think Rob Font is more of a come forward in your face. He got a really good jab. He sticks the jab on you, gets you flustered, and he's very good with his combos. And been about for years. You know what I mean? Been about in the UFC. He's got to be 6-7 years deep into his UFC career, I think, Rob Font.
Yeah, is this kind of like, looking at it, obviously Rob Font's lost his last...
What is he, 9 years ago? So you've had 14... He's been in UFC now 9 years.
2014, yeah.
But here's the... I don't know what you were going to say. Here's the flip side of the coin. So you've got the kind of old head, and he's not an old guy, but you've got the veteran Rob Font, been about years. He's fighting like this young up-and-comer Yanez, who is, 6 or 5-0 in the UFC?
5-0 in the UFC. And he's on a streak, isn't he?
And he's on another streak. What I will say is I don't think Yanez has really had a tough test yet in terms of opposition. Tell a lie, Davy Grant. He beat Davy Grant. It was a very close fight. Could have gone either way. And Davy Grant is legit. But I think his other 4 fights have been against not easy competition, but guys who they were probably comfortable that you would beat. But that doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? That just because he hasn't fought that name yet, that doesn't take away the fact that he's very skillful, big puncher, good counter puncher skill, good boxing skills. I haven't really, he's a black belt, I know, but we haven't seen his grappling yet. I know Font's a black belt. The other side of the coin here is you've got Font's been about a little bit longer. Like we look at his recent run of form. He's
only lost to the top tier guys.
But what I'll say is this: he was on a great win streak. So he beat Pettis, he beat Ricky Simone, he beat Marlon, and he beat Cody Garbrandt. He's then had 2 fights where he fought Aldo and Chito Vera, and especially in the Chito fight, he did take a lot of damage. Now he has done the right thing because he's had almost a year off since that fight. Well, by the time the fight comes, he would have had a year off. But he took a lot of damage in that fight, and don't quote me, I'm sure he took quite a bit of damage in the Aldo fight as well. And sometimes fighters don't always come back the same from a fight like that. Will it happen to Rob? No, maybe not. But it's kind of as if, like, right, we've got Font, who's this name, but he's on a bit of a downward spiral perhaps at the minute. And then we've got Yanez, who's like this young up-and-comer. Let's turn him into, this could be his, what's it called? His crossover fight where he goes from being the guy coming up to a legitimate threat. But I think, I don't think we'll see much wrestling or grappling in the fight, if I'm honest. I think if anyone's going to look to wrestle or grapple, I think it'd be Font, because he has utilised takedowns in some of his fight. Whenever I've seen Yanez fight, he wants to use that boxing and that counter punching. So
it's going to be exciting anyway, isn't it? It's one of them fights which I think.
Also, I think Font's last 2 fights have been 5-rounders as well. So it'd be interesting to see how he adapts going back to a 3-round fight.
It's got to be completely different pacing, is it? Like you tell me.
Well, yeah, I personally feel it is. I mean, a 5-round fight reminds you a little bit more of a boxing fight where you can kind of, you don't want to but you can take the first round to feel them out and see how it's going. And then when I fought Scott Malone, the game plan was always right. Well, not give him the first round, but let's just assess what he's going to do. Let him burn out a bit in the first round, and take over later on. So I knew I had 4 rounds then to play catch up. Whereas you can do that in a 3-round fight, of course you can. But then, if you don't win the second round, it's all on the third round, and you got to go out and finish. And
see that on the weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, and most guys, to be fair, even if they not got great engines, can go for a round and a half, 2 rounds, and sometimes you only need a round and a half to win the first and win the second, and then you can cruise a bit in the third. So it'll be fast. If I had to pick, I'm gonna pick Yanez by TKO late on, but it's not it's gonna be a gritty fight. I think it'll be one where it kind of comes down to who can kind of land that big shot first. I think.
Bit of a changing of the guard, you think?
I think it could be. Yeah, I think it could be. Well, what I will say is that Yanez hasn't fought for a while either. I don't think Yanez has fought for.
Oh look,
it's gonna be.
He hasn't fought since only June last year. So he's coming up close to a year off himself.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's a really good fight. The one that's thrown under the radar a little bit because of the magnitude of the main event and the co-main.
Yeah, even when you're looking down his card, right? Like next fight, Kevin Owens, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Roses Jr. I'm sure even further down, like there's names like Gastelum,
Kelvin Gastelum,
Chris Curtis. They're on the prelims.
Come on, UFC.
Chiesa, Ligia.
Listen, I know we want to hype up Rosa Jr. and he's looking like he's going to be a superstar at 18 or whatever. But how are we putting Kelvin Gastelum and Chris Curtis, who are both top 10, I think? Kelvin Gastelum's ex. How are we putting them guys on the prelims?
That's mental, isn't it?
Put Rosas in the main event of the prelim slot. You know what I mean? You got
Michelle Waterson.
You got Chiesa and Jingling. That's a hell of a fight.
Jingling.
Is that
like you said? Jingliang, is it?
Jingling.
Jingling. It sounds better, doesn't it?
Jingling.
Lee Jingling, Jingliang. Like, that's what you should.
Who's on the early prelims?
Let's have a look. If there's a big name on here, fuck, it's all gone to shit. Gerald Mestrat. He fought Khamzat, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, well, no big names as such, but it's a good card, top to bottom.
But yeah, it's just mental, isn't it?
It's a mental card. The top 3 fight, even we got Kevin Holland fighting Ponzinibbio. That's a good fight. Kind of a must-win for Kevin Holland, really. Because I think he's coming off a bad lost to Wonder Boy, but at the same time, it is Wonder Boy. So Ponzinibbio's likely going to strike with him, which I'm guessing will suit Holland. And then we've got obviously we just said about him, Rosa Jr. versus, I don't know who this guy is, Rodriguez.
I've got him up there if you want to
I think
look
he's,
at him.
I've seen online, I'm pretty sure he's on a bit of a good run
him
as well. He's 1-1 in the UFC, so.
Yeah, I think he's 8-1 overall.
Well, he lost to Jonathan Pierce, who's a good level guy. Do you know what I mean? That must have been at featherweight. Jonathan Pierce is good, and he's had a quick win there.
So they are both legitimate up and comers, aren't they? When you're looking at he's 8-1.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's how they're gonna match Rosa now for the next few fights, and they're not gonna rush him. He's 18. They're gonna give him tests, but maybe not. They're not gonna be giving him top 15, top 10 guys just yet. I don't think. But yeah, stacked card. Who are you picking in that fight?
Rosa?
No.
Or Kevin Holland?
No, not Kevin Holland. Rob Font and Yanez.
Oh, yeah.
We having a gentleman's agreement on that one?
Yeah, I think I'll go Font then. I think just to mix it up a bit, because we're both in agreement with Burns, I think, aren't we?
I'll tell you, I'll go George as well then. Let's just do it.
Jesus.
Triple threat.
Watch out.
Triple threat. Winners buying dinner.
Yeah,
losers buying dinner. Losers buying dinner. Don't be sacking me, UFC. We're not betting money. Joe's going to buy me a McDonald's maybe.
He can eat whatever he wants.
Yeah,
so
Joe can buy me a McDonald's.
This fucking game
So I'm going Periera, Masvidal, and Yanez. Stylebender,
Izzy,
Burns, and
Font.
Joe.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's not add any more in. It gets complicated, doesn't it?
Stack card.
Drop in the comments who are you going for as well.
Yeah, drop us your picks.
See.
And also, your Patreon members, let us know straight after what you thought of the card. Drop us a message on Patreon, and perhaps we'll have a little recap on it on Monday.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this is just kind of one of these cards. I think there's been so much hype around the John Jones card. There's been so much hype around the London card. This one's kind of flown under the radar a little bit.